Hey, everyone, and welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the recap and reaction to WWE's SummerSlam, which took place in New Jersey, the final night of the first ever two-night SummerSlam. This is WWE's WrestleMania Junior, if you will, the party of the summer, SummerSlam. Night 2, coming off the heels of Night 1, where we got an epic cash-in by Seth Rollins on CM Punk after he won the World Heavyweight Championship for, 5 minutes and lose it due to a cash-in to Seth Rollins, nonetheless. A beautiful way to end Night 1. Can Night 2 live up to what Night 1 gave us? I thought Night 1 was pretty decent. You know, it wasn't the greatest of all time, but they had some really good matches. Some were surprisingly good. Some were just decent. None that I would consider horrible matches. I just would have preferred to see them on Friday night SmackDown or Raw on Netflix or something like that. But for the most part, I was thoroughly entertained by Night 1. Night 2, we have 6 matches on the card. Starting off with Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. We had a no disqualification match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship between Becky Lynch and Laura Valkyria. A steel cage match for the WWE United States Championship with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. A men's Intercontinental Championship match with Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles, as well as a 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. The Wyatt Six, Andrade and Ray Phoenix, DIY, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits were a part of that match. And in the main event, the street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. We kick off Night 2 with the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship between Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and the champion Naomi, who we know cashed in her Money in the Bank Championship at Evolution against these two women, where she won the championship. So we get the rubber match, I guess, or the rematch, with a official triple threat match between these three women. And this was the opening, and we know that the opening sets the tone for the remainder of the show. This was a good match. This was very good. I was expecting more of a banger of a match, but to be fair to these three women, I was comparing it to the triple threat match at WrestleMania with Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. And so that's what I had in my mind as a template, as an outline for this match. And that wasn't fair. That really wasn't fair. That was Mania. That was a different atmosphere, a different build to that match. This match, with the build, with these three participants in their styles, and you still have the story lingering on that Rhea Ripley has yet to defeat Io Sky. Throughout her, 4 or 5 years of dominance, she has not defeated Io Sky. And the one time that she came close, one-on-one, was at Evolution, and that was ruined by Naomi. So that leads us to this. This match was good. It was kind of emotional to see Naomi's father in the beginning, the one playing the guitar for her intro music. That was an emotional touch. At that moment, I knew Naomi was winning. And to be honest with you, Naomi needed to win this match. That's the right call, because she just won it. You know, you don't want to have this flip-flop of championship every month, it feels like. You know, you want, especially a heel like Naomi, you want her to have a healthy reign with the title. And there's more money in the chase. There's more money in the chase for Rhea, for Io, for whoever else who's coming after that title when the time is right. I'm pretty sure Bianca's going to play a part when she's healthy. She's still dealing with that broken finger. But regardless of that, this match was really, really good. I was thoroughly entertained. These women put on one heck of a show, which I fully expect. You have two former champions and a current one. This is championship pedigree all around it, and they gave us a championship match between the three. The way they can find a way to kind of reinvent themselves every iteration of these type of matches, the triple threat, because after a while you get tired. Like, is Rhea and Io, like, I don't know, destined to be in triple threat matches for for the remainder of their careers in WWE? It feels like it, because for the last few PLEs, that's what they've been in. But they're so good at it. They bounce well off of each other, and we're still holding on to that Rhea can't beat Io. And when that finally happens, it needs to happen in a legitimate one-on-one clean fashion, and so she can cross that hump. So good on them. Naomi retains in a great open to night 2. I give the triple threat match where Naomi retains her women's world championship against Rhea and Io Sky, I give it a B-. I thought it was a really good match. Great way to open the night. And the rest, I don't know what's next for these three. I don't know who's going to challenge Naomi going forward. Will it be one of these two women she defeated tonight? I don't know. What is next for Rhea? What is next for Io? And what is next for Naomi? Will Bianca come back? Even though, Bianca's on SmackDown. So, interesting. I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see in the coming weeks or months or whatever. But I do. No. I do know who Naomi have. Naomi will have to go up against Stephanie Vaquer, right? Yeah, it's Stephanie Vaquer. She won that Battle Royal at Evolution to face her in the next PLE. I think Clash in Paris. So, yeah, that's next for Naomi. That ought to be good. Ooh, I just got super excited all of a sudden. Yeah, that ought to be good. So we know what's next for Naomi. But we'll have to wait and see what's next for Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. We move on to our second match of the night, and it was the 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Tag Team Championship, where the champions, the Wyatt Six, take on Andrade and Rey Fenix, DIY, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits. Initially, I felt this was too much for a TLC match. There 6 teams. 6 teams. I remember when it's 2 is a lot, but when it was 3 teams back in the day, I think the first one was the Dudleys and the Hardys and Edge and Christian, right? So that was a lot going on there, but those 3 are Hall of Famers, all 3 teams. But 6, that's a lot going on. And you add furniture into the mix. Yeah, I wasn't 100% with this match, but what's the worst can happen at this point? Man, they all came out, and this is basically the entire SmackDown tag team division. These 6 teams, the entire division is in this match. I was shocked. I mean, this was a heck of a match, man. I mean, a train wreck. There was disaster going on all around this match. And I must say, I was thoroughly entertained. Was it overproduced? Yes. Was there a lot going on here? Yes. Did you have outside interference out of the blue Yes. Women getting involved? Yes. It was just everything. They threw literally the kitchen sink into this match. It was pure mayhem. There was a botch, a clear botch that when the Street Profits threw what's his name? Joe Gracie tried to throw him into the ladder. He missed the ladder. They went out, got him again. They listened to the crowd and threw him back into the ladder to make up for it. Perfect table spots. People diving. You saw what they call that move, the Spanish Fly or Spanish Destroyer or whatever, off of the rope to the outside onto two tables, and oh my God, it was chaos. Poor Candice LeRae just blew a ladder up. I mean, the ladder imploded when she landed on it, and Candice LeRae is about 20 pounds soaking wet. So for the fact that that ladder just exploded when she landed on it was hilarious to me. But it was so much going on, but not to the point where I didn't know what was going on. Just, yeah, I say it was overproduced, but it was produced pretty perfectly because I could follow everything that was going on, and I was entertained by all six teams in this match. The Wyatt Six retains the WWE Tag Team Championship, and once again, the right call. Reason being, there was so much hype around the Wyatt Six, and you know, this is supposed to be a tribute group for Bray Wyatt, and you know, a lot going into this. You know, they pretty much lost the spooky element of them all, but they are still a force of nature. They're still a threat, and they need to maintain that. So they couldn't lose, you know, and I was hoping that they didn't lose this match, and they didn't. Ultimately, in the end, retaining the WWE Tag Team Championships. I'll give this match a B-. Yeah, we're on a good roll so far, 2 for 2 for night 2. That leads us into the Women's Intercontinental Championship match for our third match of the night. Becky Lynch with her new theme song or theme music in tow, defending that championship against Lyra Valkyria in a no disqualification, no count out, last chance match. This is a match if Lyra Valkyria loses and Becky wins, Lyra can no longer challenge for the title as long as Becky Lynch is the Intercontinental Champion. So there were some high stipulations on this match. Pretty much a hardcore match, pretty much a street fight, which was kind of confusing because we get a street fight later on down this card in the main event. I'm like, why are we having two of these type of matches on the same night? But whatever. I enjoyed the build up to this match. I enjoyed the story leading up into this match, including Bayley being involved, and she got involved with this match towards the end out of the blue. But as far as the match is concerned, I'm not going to say I didn't like it. I liked what was going on in the match. I even liked the outcome of the match. It just seemed long. It just seemed like too much was going on in this match, and it moved at a slower pace than it needed to be. You know, if you have, for instance, some of the things that were going on in this match involving the tables, involving the chairs, involving the zip ties and all this here, I would have expected it to kind of be at a higher pace, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Now, it picked up towards the end, and to be fair, I was kind of distracted during the match because of the crowd. I don't know what it is about this crowd. They were not into it. They got into it in moments, but for the majority of this match, the crowd was out of it. Their attention was elsewhere, and it kind of drew me away from the match, you know, with them yelling and cheering for whatever was going on in the stadium. But it just took me out of it. But this match was overproduced, very much overproduced, and I guess that was the theme of the night. You know, we went back to back with two overproduced matches, whereas the TLC match, it was overproduced, but it's still entertained, and that's why I don't knock it. This was overproduced and it didn't entertain. And, it's just a testament of, execution. And it's all about execution. And this match just didn't hit the way it was supposed to. I think the outcome, even though I'm not mad at the outcome, I wish Lara would have won. Actually, to be honest with you, my thoughts going into this match, I thought it would have been better if they pulled what was that? A WrestleMania? Oh, I forgot which WrestleMania it was. It was the Bret Hart Yokozuna match, where Hogan came out and Bret told Hogan to go and fight Yoko, and he did and won the championship. I would have accepted it if Lara would have did that with Bayley. She's zip tied, she's beaten half to death, and she's like, "Look, just take my spot. Just go." Becky comes out to check on her, and she's like, "Look, take my spot. Go ahead, get her." And and Bayley goes in and defeats Becky. I would have accepted that, But what was the purpose of Bayley being there? Now you're gonna have this feud with Bayley and Lara that was already set up at Evolution, I believe. So what did this do? This didn't add anything. This didn't do anything, because them feuding leads to nothing. Because Lara cannot challenge for the Intercontinental Championship no longer. So she's kind of dead in the water at this point. Bayley, I guess she's going to feud with Becky. But where does that leave Lara? And Lara, I mean, they had her. One of my biggest knocks, along with the many on this match, was that they had Lara like she was just unstoppable. She was a beast, man. She was the female Brock Lesnar. No matter what you did to her, she was going to get out of it. I mean, they did everything. Becky did everything to her. Hit her with everything. Hit her, ran her into the exposed turnbuckle face first. Manhandle slammed her through 2 tables, covered her, and she kicked out. Wrapped her up in a chair, stomped on it. She got out of it. Zip tied her, and she was able to still execute her offense. It's like, what is? She shouldn't be going after the Intercontinental Championship. She should be going after Naomi to get that Women's World Championship, because she is a monster, which I do see that in Lara. And I'm saying that because I like Lara Valkyria. I think she is the future of the women's division, or one of the shining lights in the future in this division. But I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't bad. I just didn't like it. If that makes any sense. Becky Lynch retains her women's Intercontinental Championship with the interference of Bayley hitting Lara Valkyria with a chain that resulted in Becky getting a 1, 2, 3 to retain. I give this match a C-. Yeah, it was the weakest so far of the night, but I don't know, man. It was just overdone. They did too much. They didn't have to. They just didn't have to go that hard for this match. I would have appreciated it if they would have ran back the triple threat and just have Bayley in the match. Just make it a no disqualification hardcore match. Like it is. But this is what we got, and I guess, I gotta live with it, as do we all. But that leads us to the 4th match of the night, and it is a steel cage match for the WWE United States Championship. Solo Sikoa puts that championship on the line against the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Oh, bro, I was looking forward to this one. You got Jacob Fatu, who is swiftly becoming one of my favorites currently in the WWE. Just taking the world by storm. From the moment he stepped in the ring with this company, he has been money to me. Love him inside and outside the ring. Solo Sikoa built him up to be a monster, but as of late, not so much. Ever since the decimation of the bloodline, he's been nothing. He hasn't been that force. But I was looking to see these two meaty men slapping meat in the ring, especially in a steel cage match. What was this? What was this match, man? This was very, very disappointing, man. At this point, I sat there and I'm thinking to myself, all right, I convinced myself. I really talked myself into liking the TLC match. The Becky Lynch Lara Valkyria match. You just heard my thoughts on that. So I'm like, well, this just isn't panning out well. It is making night one look phenomenal, man, because this night so far has not been firing on all cylinders. I cannot express my level of disappointment with this match in particular. Aside the fact that they told no story in the ring, they did nothing in the ring. It was really nothing. And then when the MFTs came out, they did nothing. It was like they're no threat. They pose no threat, and when they do get involved with the match, it's clunky. It's awkward, and nothing is fluid. I mean, Talaloga, he couldn't even put handcuffs on Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu was just sitting there waiting on him, just waiting on him, just waiting on. It's like, my God, and it was just so sloppy. And poor Jimmy Uso, I don't know, they just have him out there to take cannon fodder. It's just a mess, and this match was a mess. Solo ended up winning in the end by escaping the cage. I really don't know what to say about this. I really don't. I'm so disappointed with this match. This was the only match I was looking forward to. To be honest with you, I wanted to see the other matches, but this was the one I was hyped up for. It did absolutely nothing in the end. The steel cage match between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu for the WWE United States Championship. Solo wins, gets a letter grade of a D+. Yeah, it was a bad match. That was for a steel cage match. It was bad. It was bad, and you have two pretty good performers in the ring. It's not like they're bad. I don't know what the deal was there. Keeping Solo with the title is, I'm cool with that, but it's just they don't have Solo as a threat, and that's the part that's bothering me. Solo Sikoa is the leader of this faction, and they're supposed to be so dominant of a faction, so I guess strong as a faction, this Samoan dynasty here, and they pose no threat to anybody. They haven't beefed with anybody outside of Jacob Fatu, outside of anybody in their bloodline, so to speak. So what's the point? What's the point of this faction? Please explain it. But whatever the case may be, that's that. So we move on to the WWE Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio defending that championship against AJ Styles, the phenomenal one himself, in what's being reported as his final SummerSlam. This had a decent build going into it. I ain't gonna say decent, but it had a build. It had a story going into it, even though the story was kind of lame. But at least they attempted to tell a story nonetheless, with the Dominic injury angle and AJ wanting to fight Dominic, but he had to push off the match because he was quote unquote hurt, and so on and so forth. It was all that, and AJ nipping at his heels, being at every corner, watching him to see if he's really hurt, and all this here leading up to tonight. All right, fine. It's a story. There's a plus in WWE, because sometimes they'll just throw a match together. This wasn't thrown together, at least. But I was excited for this as well. Dominic Mysterio, I think he is the future of this company. Honestly, hands down. Dominic, he has it all. He can control the crowd. Whether whether it's good or bad, he has the control of the crowd. He is getting better in the ring. He's just doing everything right, man. He's doing everything right, loving everything that Dominic is throwing at me, man. And AJ Styles, he's a legend, man. He's an icon. He's a future Hall of Famer. What more can you say about that young man? This match was fine. This was an all right match. This could have been on Raw, and I would have been just as satisfied. This was not a SummerSlam level match. And to be honest with you, what is SummerSlam level? Maybe I'm putting too much expectation on these performers. I'm expecting grandioso performances, pulling everything out of your hat. I don't know, man, but it's just average. These are some average matches that we got on this card, in my humble opinion, up to this point. I was just unamused by this match. It was fine. I actually have nothing to say about this match, good or bad. It was pretty much what I expected. From opening bell to final bell, it was everything I expected. AJ got the upper hand to start off. There were shenanigans on the hands of Dominic. Kind of cheated to win. We got a Eddie Guerrero homage. And at the end, Dominic Mysterio retains his championship. It was nothing that caught me off guard. Nothing shocking. These two gave me exactly what I thought they would give me. And that was that. And so, with that being said, Dominic Mysterio retains the Intercontinental Championship by defeating AJ Styles. It gets a C. Yeah, it was average. It was what it was. Nothing more, nothing less. And so we move on to the main event of the night, the main event of the weekend, the street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship. The rematch, if you will, from WrestleMania. John Cena defending the title against Cody Rhodes. Can this match save this SummerSlam that was trending downward? I mean, in a epic way. It was going down faster than the Titanic up to this point. And quite honestly, at this point, I was talking to myself, of course, and I was like, WWE kind of telegraphed how this match was going to end. There were 6 matches tonight. 6. All 6 of them were championship matches. The first 5, we didn't get a title change. All of the incumbents won. Everybody retained their championship. And I was saying to myself, there's no way everybody is going to leave with their respective championships. Now, everybody retained up to this point, so I was like, okay, Cody Rhodes is going to win. Now, the only question was Cody Rhodes going to turn heel? Was there going to be some interference, some shenanigans to go on? This is a street fight, of course. And so, what's going to happen? And can this match be just a sliver better than their WrestleMania match? Well, by God, it was. And I mean, by leaps and bounds better. This was the best John Cena since his retirement tour. This has been his best match. Hands down. It's not even close. You can't compare nothing else to what he's done. Actually, you can go back years. Years, even when he was a part-timer coming back, and right before he became a part-timer. This was the best John Cena I've seen in a very long time. What a match. This was a true main event. John Cena, I don't know if he had it all built up to just give us one. He's going to go out the door with one good match. because he said it himself. He said it on that documentary series on Netflix, Unreal, that his body just can't go no more. You know, he that's the reason he's retiring. He doesn't have it in him. And you can see it. You know, I feel bad for the dude. And so he's giving it his best. So when he has these kind of poo-poo matches, you know, I really don't fault him. He just can't go, you know. But I guess he was, I don't know, I don't know what he did. He conjured up something within him to give us his best match at SummerSlam. This dude went, I don't know how long this match was, 20, 30 minutes, I don't know, but he was all gas, no brakes. He went Jacob Fatu on it. Actually, he was more animated than Jacob Fatu was tonight. But he was full speed ahead, man. I mean, we got the entrance, we got the sprinting down the aisleway that was like a mile long. Uh he he took a lot of offense, brutal shots from Cody. Some shots, not so much. The camera was not in a good spot to catch those fake punches that were that missed him by a foot. But I get it. You know, he got Peacemaker series, the promotion for that coming up, so he can't mess up his face. But he took the shot. He took the bumps through the table, through that barricade, that metal barricade that almost folded up. I mean, 50 crossroads. You know, he was taking it, bro. I was loving every minute of it. This was a very good match. And did it save WrestleMania? I'm not WrestleMania, but did it save SummerSlam? I don't think it saved it, but it certainly made it better. You know, it ended on the right note with Cody Rhodes defeating John Cena to become the new undisputed WWE champion. The only thing I didn't like was Cody didn't turn heel. And I'm not in that camp demanding it, you know, going on message boards and chat rooms and just firing off about, oh man, Cody should be a heel. I'm not in that group, but I'm starting to sense, and you can sense it watching the show, listening to the crowd, that I think people are starting to get a little tiresome of Cody Rhodes. You know, he's getting to that point where they don't hate him. I don't think the WWE universe hate him. Like me, I don't hate him. I just think it's time for a change. He's the same person. He's the same character. We need to spice it up a little bit, you know, and that would have been a nice turn. But whatever, eventually it'll come. I know eventually he will turn heel in a more epic fashion. You know, if it wasn't tonight, maybe we're holding off. The only question is now, who is Cody Rhodes going to feud against? You know, it looks like John Cena has moved on to other things, and we're going to touch on that in a second. But who's going to challenge Cody now? Will it be CM Punk? You know, now that he got the shaft with the World Heavyweight Championship, will he move on to Cody? Will Roman Reigns hop back in the picture? Trying to think of who else could probably pop in there. It could be someone unknown. I don't know, LA Knight. That would be interesting, even though I don't think LA Knight will win that feud, but it'll be interesting. Something new, something fresh, you know, other than something that we've done time and time again. But what would be fresh would be CM Punk. You know, CM Punk and Cody. That's something that we haven't really gotten. We haven't really gotten them since their return to WWE. So that would be a nice feud leading into, I guess, WrestleMania season, possibly. If they want to pull the trigger sooner, that's fine, you know, for Survivor Series and whatnot. We'll see. We'll see. But John Cena, he is the MVP tonight. He's the GOAT. And, man, you want to talk about shock? I was saying that, you know, night one, we got a surprise. Night 2, up to this point, we haven't gotten any surprises. There were no surprise returns. Normally, SummerSlam give us one. You know, we've gotten the return of Roman Reigns on SummerSlam. We got introduction to Damage Control one year. We got the return of Becky Lynch one year. We got the return of Brock Lesnar one year. We got the return of John Cena one year at SummerSlam. So who can come in? I was thinking The Rock internally, but I wasn't really excited about that pick. The last name, and I mean the absolute last name to run across my mind, actually showed up. Brock Lesnar. I was shocked. It's rare that I get shocked watching wrestling. Being as though I've been watching it for well over 40 years. It's kind of hard to trick me. It's kind of hard to surprise me. But my God, WWE did it. They actually pulled it off. Never would have thought in a million years Brock Lesnar would return, especially if you know what's all going on behind the scenes with that lawsuit that involves Vince McMahon and Janet Grant, I think her name is, that lawsuit. And I think Brock Lesnar is name dropped in that suit. And so WWE and TKO kind of pushed him to the side. They never really fired him or got rid of him, but kind of just go away. You don't go away until all this settled. As far as I know, the case isn't settled unless something happened. I really don't follow that case, but apparently everything's good because when John Cena was getting his flowers, which he rightfully deserved after this match from New Jersey and New York audience there at MetLife Stadium, we heard Brock Lesnar's music, and literally my jaw hit the ground. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? He's back? And that makes so much sense. We can't have John Cena. We only have 4 months left in this run, which Michael Cole constantly reminded us throughout the night. 4 months left. John Cena has fought Cody Rhodes. He's fought one of his other rivals in Randy Orton. He's fought one of the biggest rivals he had in CM Punk. But his biggest rival was Brock Lesnar. And if he was going to go out without giving us a Brock Lesnar match one last time, it would have sucked. It really would have sucked. And I would be completely honest with you, that thought never ran across my mind until Brock Lesnar made his way down the ramp. And it really dawned on me, this is the only way. This is the only way John Cena can ride off into the sunset. We got to get this one more time. This is where Suplex City was born, with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. We got to run this back one more time before he rides off into the sunset. So it all makes sense. All that other stuff behind the scenes with lawsuits and all this here, okay, that's going to take care of itself. But as far as the sports entertainment of it all, yes, I want this. I need this. It didn't think I needed this until it happened. Crazy enough. And so I am super satisfied with the ending of this PLE. I give the street fight match between John Cena and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE championship, where Cody Rhodes becomes a 2-time champion. I give that match an A. That was an incredible match from these two performers. And I'm not giving it a curve because it was John Cena or not. This was an incredible match. Awesome match. But it still doesn't take the sting away from the fact that this was a horrible, horrible night 2. This was not a good pay-per-view. Night 1 was great. Night 1 was WrestleMania 17 compared to this 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 card that we got in night 2. Honestly, this was a bad night 2. But it was bookended pretty well. We got a good triple threat match to start it. We got an excellent main event to wrap it all up. So that's it for SummerSlam 2025. We have had an epic cash-in with Seth Rollins. We had a pretty doggone good celebrity match with Jelly Roll and Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Pretty awesome. We had a good tag team match with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. The triple threat match with Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky was decent. It was an all right TLC match. I mean, they had some really good matches spread out over the weekend, but I think it was pretty even kill. You know, out of the 12 matches, well, 13 if you count the cash in. But out of 13 matches, I would say I'll give 8 of them good. 8 of them were good. You know, I wasn't expecting 100% approval rating here, but that's good. That's over 50%. I can accept that. But they need to work on a lot of things. Number one, this tag team division, it's not looking good. This bloodline storyline, or what's left of it, just let it go. Either let it go or try to revitalize it in some way, because what we have now with the MFT, that is horrible. This is a train wreck. The women's division is clearly the best division in this company, and they need to be treated as such. All women's matches were great. You know, the worst one was the Becky Lynch Lyra Valkyria one, but it was still a good match. It just was It do appear that we do have some storylines coming out of this that's a little interesting, so we'll see how that goes. But we also see where there's some question marks for a lot of other talents coming out of SummerSlam. So I don't know. The jury's out. We'll see moving forward. But as it stands right now, this was an overall all right SummerSlam. It was clearly not the best SummerSlam, nowhere near the best SummerSlam or one of the best SummerSlams. It was decent enough to keep me occupied this entire weekend. But I would like to know, what were your thoughts of SummerSlam's first ever 2-night event? Did you enjoy the 2-night format for this particular PLE, or do you think they should go back to 1 night? I don't have a problem with the 2-night, but if you're going to do the 2-night, give me better matches than this. Give me better stories than this. Give me better builds up to this. And you had all these championship matches, and let me give this little rant before we close out. You didn't have a women's United States Championship. Every other championship was defended except the women's United States Championship. I think that's kind of disrespectful, because I look at matches such as the Sami Zayn Karrion Kross match. What was the purpose of that? You could have replaced that with the women's United States Championship match. It was no point of that match being at SummerSlam. You could have did that on Raw. You know it. But whatever. But all the rest were championship matches. So I really can't. Well, that Drew McIntyre Jelly Roll one, but you know that's there to be there. But they still could have squeezed in another match. For example, what match that was? Well, the CM Punk Gunther match, that was 30 minutes long, right? That was a 30-minute match in night 1. They could have shaved off 10 minutes of that match, and it still would have been cool. You know, the tag team match with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, that was 21 minutes. That didn't have to go 21 minutes. You could have took 5 minutes there. So you're already at 15. So 15 minutes, you could have squeezed out another match. And that's just in night 1. You could have squeezed off that women's United States Championship match. That's just my opinion, you know. But to be fair, it really hasn't gotten to the level as the women's Intercontinental Championship yet. But I don't blame those who have had the title. I blame WWE for not pushing it as well. But my initial question was, what was your favorite match? What was your favorite match of the weekend? Let me know by emailing the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, YouTube, subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel. Like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap and reaction to night 2 of WWE's SummerSlam. Catch you in a few weeks when we come back to recap and review Clash in Paris. I think that is the last week of August. So we're right around the corner with that. But until then, y'all be cool. Y'all enjoy all of the Raws and SmackDown in between. Be cool, be blessed, and I'll holler at y'all then. Peace.